Hello and welcome to the Connected Intelligence Spotlight series. Today we're going to take a look at broadband in rural America based on a report we published last year. It's an increasingly important topic during this time of self-isolation when our internet connection has become the main way to stay in contact with the world around us, either through video chats, messaging, or simply browsing the web looking for the latest updates. Well, according to the FCC, there are 21 million people without broadband access in the United States, which is pretty bad. But based on our research, the real number is higher. It's closer to 31% of households, not people, that in the US that do not have broadband access. That's roughly 90 to 100 million people. And it's no surprise that the more rural states are the most underserved. It's even worse when you look at the data at a county level rather than state. Take Kentucky, for example, where nearly 50% of households don't get broadband. In fact, just 25 counties out of 120 have more than 50% coverage, which is a very low bar for broadband. Worse yet, nearly half the counties have less than 20% broadband coverage per household. Even in counties that do have broadband, the chances are there's only one broadband option, which means there's no competitive pricing pressure. If you want broadband, there'll be few, if any, pricing promotions, making it potentially unaffordable to a lot of houses. Connecting the remaining 31% of homes is clearly not an easy task. There are fewer customers at the end of the fiber to help pay back the installation costs, which makes the investment unappealing for carriers. This is where the state and federal government are supposed to step in. The problem is, state-run initiatives to solve the problem haven't, in general, worked out so well. Take Kentucky and Kentucky Wired, for example, the state's homegrown project to create a broadband network. At the time we published our report last year, the initiative was over budget, way behind schedule, and not a single home had been connected. Of course, it's not an easy project. The terrain is rugged, far from flat. In fact, the state resorted to hiring a mule, Old Bub, to help install cables in some of the tougher areas. So why does this matter? Well, let's start with the obvious digital divide, as it's never been more of an issue than now with many schools closed. Home-based schooling is fine if you have a broadband connection for those Zoom calls, but it's far harder to do if you're at the end of a very long DSL connection or a fixed wireless connection. Schools are having to get creative, leaving Wi-Fi equipped school buses near student homes so that they can get a connection. But the more rural the market, the more unrealistic that solution is. McDonald's parking lots are also popular as they offer Wi-Fi. But the idea that your children should go to a McDonald's parking lot every time they need to do a Zoom class is pretty ridiculous. The lack of broadband also limits the ability to remote work, makes it more challenging for small business startups, and of course makes binge watching your favorite streaming content far harder. Many rural residents that we talked to said they tried to stream, but they got tired of the buffering issues. Remember that old school Netflix model of actually sending DVDs through the mail? Well, there are still 2.7 million subscribers to that, and you can take a pretty good guess where most of them live. This digital divide is also driving increased Blu-ray and DVD sales in parts of the country right now. Unsurprisingly, the increased demand is in parts of the country with poorer broadband coverage, while demand is down in areas of stronger broadband such as the east and west coasts. Now, there is hope that this lack of broadband availability will change in the next few years. The combination of 5G and low-band spectrum will bring faster wireless to rural homes as it's deployed, allowing for fixed mobile to the home. It's not going to be the super high speed that carriers like to talk about, but it'll be a darn sight faster than current fixed wireless or DSL solutions at 1 to 2 megabits per second. And that's going to be key for helping rural markets get access to reasonable internet speeds, which in turn will mean a better economic outlook for many local residents, offer a more level playing field for schools, let more people binge watch streaming video content, and most importantly, Old Bub will finally be able to retire. That's our spotlight. Thanks for joining.